Summer school numbers, we're now at about 400 between both Granby and Triway. I think we started summer school last year at about 420, but we're still gonna get some. We're trying to emphasize, we have kids that go to Crowder as well. We're only allowed to take 25 of those kids total, but we have like 60 that sign up that wanna go. But we're only allowed so many, so hopefully we're gonna get a few of those too. We still pay for those kids perfect attendance if they go to Crowder during the summer as well. So hopefully we'll get a few more of those and bump over. It's not as cool for the junior high.
What do they get paid to go to summer school?
What do they get paid?
Yeah.
If they have perfect attendance, 0 days missed, 100. If they miss 1 day, 75. If they miss 2 days, 50.
Okay.
That's consistent with last year.
Yes, and that's
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When we talked about that, going to doing summer school ourselves, that was one of the things we asked you to do, that we wanted to continue to do, because keep that incentive in
And
there.
and to us, that's probably around a $50,000 hit, but if you didn't have it, you can cut those numbers in half.
Well, it increases our AD.
It does, it
And
does.
it does, yeah, we need the summer school ADA to increase our regular, our regular year ADA, and if we lost a bunch of kids, then we'd be in trouble, so.
And our summer school will also increase too with adding the high school PE class. That was a tremendous gift for us last year. That added
Yep.
60 kids that we normally don't have at the high school. So,
Average daily attendance.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I start speaking in acronyms and forget people don't have them all.
We don't have driver's ed.
If everybody understand, we get, just to
Yes.
explain ADA real quick, we get so much money per pupil per year, and their attendance costs, so if they, right now it's 6308, so if they attend every single day at perfect attendance, we'd get $6,308 for them, for that student. If they miss a day, then it goes down. It's prorates as they go down. That's why attendance is so important, keeping attendance high, because the higher attendance, the more that $6,308 will receive. So that's why we push that. Plus, attendance is kind of important to learn school. Just that part. Get off that part. Get off the finances. The other part's kind of
Is
important
the
too.
PE class, I mean, we have a PE class in the end of the summer, correct? So
Yes.
and that's okay to have?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, what is not okay to have is an athletics class during the summer. We can't do that.
Didn't we lose a lot of them to Neosho because they would go to Neosho?
Yes, they can take the
For
PE
summer.
credit in
Yeah.
Neosho, so they're actually getting a credit out of the deal,
Okay.
you know, and that, so, and we are allowed to do that.
Are they still required to take a PE credit? Is that? in-
Yes,
They're mandated to have one.
One, okay.
Yeah.
but they can have more than one
Yeah.
and use it as an elective. And
Okay.
the
Yeah,
summer,
and-
it's
and
not
if
a
they
full
do,
credit,
then
it's a half
just
credit
elective
for summer
credit
too.
After that.
Oh, it's, huh?
If
It's a
they
half
take
credit
it
for
for
summer.
4 years, you only get one PE credit, and then the other 3 are considered elective credits. Testing has begun district-wide. We started MAP and we started EOCs last week. MAP started this week. Right now, the high school is done with biology, government, and ELA. They finished up ELA today. And then next week, we'll have Algebra 1, and then high school will be done with EOCs minus anybody that's missed. End of course exams, sorry, EOCs. MAP testing has begun for Granby and Triway. They've started that today, or yesterday. And it's going well. I think it's been 3rd grade that they've been testing right now, and their schedules are all over the place, so and that's gonna keep going through the rest of this month probably to get done. Pre-K enrollment, I wish Mrs. Robinson would have stayed. Pre-K enrollment is currently way up. She has seen a ton and screened a ton already. Each campus can serve 20 kids daily, and that's a morning session and afternoon sessions of 10 each. And enrollment is determined by academic need, depending on the screening scores. And right now, Granby has 11 on their waiting list for next year, and Triway has 9. And Mrs. Robinson still has more to screen.
On the waiting list?
On the waiting list.
That's past what she has.
When did they tell parents who made it?
When? I would imagine when they're done screening.
When offered?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she, like I said, I think she still has a few more, not too many more, but it's still a few more to go.
So who gets chosen for PK?
Who gets,
The needs.
it's based on their academic needs, so the higher your academic need, the more likely you are to be placed in pre-K. You know, if you're in there and you're a pretty average, you know, 4-year-old,
You're gonna do good.
you're probably not gonna get into pre-K, so.
So we don't have paras in the pre-K program?
No,
'Cause I know we served 15 kids each, but we had a para in there.
right. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how we arrived at the number of 10. I know I believe it's title funded.
It is.
It's title funded, so I don't know if that was part of our program when we started it and said, this is what we're gonna have. But yeah, we just have teachers.
If we could, if there was a way for it, I mean, we can't recover too much. If you've heard if you've heard the state talking about getting attendance for pre-K kids, it's only for the pre-K kids who are identified as special education. So we have a total of 42 preschool or pre-K kids, and you only get so much, so that would be less than one student we get to count for attendance. If we could expand that and then turn around and get more, that's the problem though. To expand it, you have to have, if we added 2 more teachers, that only adds 20 more kids, and then those 20 more kids we're not guaranteed to get any attendance for them, so that's what makes it difficult. We'd love to be able to do that, but we have to recoup some of that and pay for those teacher salaries through attendance, but we wouldn't get enough attendance for it. So that's the struggle.
That's all I had.
So,
Thank you.
I'm helping Chuck out, but I'm helping myself out more. So the EOCs, we used to have ASVAB and MAP, and ASVAB was the military. So do we still do ASVAB?
We still do ASVAB in
Okay.
October.
In October, okay. Is that volunteer or is that everybody?
We try to get everybody to do it.
Okay.
We try to, because that's one of the tests that the state gives us points for, depending on how you score.
Okay.
We get points depending on how you score for ASVAB, for your EOC, for your ACT, work keys.
Or keys.
So all those, if you have a good qualifying score on any of those, that counts for us for, our APR.
APR, okay.
Yeah.
So then the EOCs, are they tied to the grade? Or what are they tied to? I mean, they're tied to the class.
They can be tied to the grade. A teacher can count how you do on your EOC for no more than 10% of your grade. Normally, what our teachers do is that's their final.
Okay.
That's how they usually do it, even though it's early. They will still try to count that, and they will count that as 10%, and that will usually be their final.
Okay. And so then, is there a pass and fail of that EOC, or is it just?
It's not so much a pass-fail, because there's no skin in the game if you don't do well on it, for the kid anyway. And basically what it comes down to, it's below basic, proficient, or advanced. And those are the 4 scoring options you can get. And then you're given a raw score, and then based on that raw score, we'll say, this is how you performed. Basic is considered usually grade-ish level. Below basic is below grade level. Proficient is slightly above grade level. Advanced is beyond grade level.
And we want the top 2.
Yeah.
We get more points for proficient and advanced. Or even if we had a bunch of kids that were below basic,
They
moved up.
if every one of you scored below basic last year and then took the test this year and moved to basic, awesome. Because I get tons of points.
Yeah.
We get tons of points for moving up, regardless of where you go. That's why it's hard for, a kid that gets advanced to get advanced again. Mandy's like, great job. But man, Matt moves from below basic to proficient, is like, geez, I just got tons of points. Thank you, Matt. You're awesome. Hey, growth, baby. It's all about the growth.
And then that goes to our APR.
Oh, yes.
Yes, right, okay, yes, that's where we got that,
Yeah.
those numbers from.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Chuck, anytime you have questions, just ask.
Yep,
We'll
just
stop.
Yeah.
And I apologize, because
always do.
I'll just go.
I heard there may be a cheat sheet.
Charlie keeps talking, oh my gosh.
I know.
I'll try to find.
You got me
it.
excited.
There is.
I thought I wasn't gonna talk at all, no.
Okay, just messing with you, man.
Yes,
He
okay,
does that.
okay.
Stuff. When you do the MSBA,
MSBA.
you'll learn a lot.
They give you one of those sheets, so
I
kind
think
of.
it's
Okay,
in there.
good.
But you're just the alternates.
No, it's not, no,
Train.
No,
Yes,
no,
no,
that's how it is.
Oh, you have to do a lot of.
Yes, to go to
that's
training.
exactly what it is.
A lot on your computer instead of home do.
All right,
Later.
old business.
Later, later, later.
We have the OPA contract extension.
The administration recommends continuing our contract with OPA.
Second.
Okay, now let's have a discussion. Have a-
We had,
Got the numbers. Did you lose that again?
You lost that again? So any,
You said it was 14,
Transition year is,
13, 14.
thank you, the transition year was 12-13. So 10-11 and 11-12, we were on our own. And then 12-13 is a transition year, and then 13-14 is when OPA became our contracted services came in full-time. So really, these are just raw numbers. We looked at food costs, salaries, benefits, supplies, contracted, and then total expenses. And then what I did was put the total revenue for the year below that as well. That same year with everything we had. The 18-19 is projected, so you can't really, that's just projected. The revenues are probably lower than they should be, but that's just projected. The biggest thing to see is that, from 2010 to 2011, the difference is our enrollment was higher, so that's why it cost more, and that's why we made more money. That's pretty simple. 11, 12, we were still higher, but the biggest thing to look for is reduced cost and reduced
expense?
expenses on our part. And one of the other big dichotomy in there, the other big example is, at some point during that time, the FDA changed the food requirements for schools to serve, and you can see the big drop, basically a big drop in revenue and a big drop in, expenses have dropped as well, but a big drop in revenue because of participation, and that's not our fault. That happened everywhere. That wasn't just East Newton, that happened everywhere.
Nobody wants to eat it.
That was a 10, between 10, 11, and 11 and 12, right?
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
It was around there.
Trump.
Yeah, so,
It's
that-
Obama.
Yeah,
we
I know,
recommend that we
think about
continue
has Trump.
with OPA as
Let's-
our provider.
Any other discussion?
You don't.
Okay,
It's hard to, I said earlier, it's hard to compare.
It is.
It is.
These are
We're
real
trying to
raw
compare
numbers.
apples and oranges, and
It's
in a sense,
hard.
it's the same thing, but it's difficult because there's
Mhm.
two different entities, and then we don't know the enrollment, and then we change the food, like you said, they
Right.
change the food itself, so.
The biggest
does
challenge
the
for
job
us would
itself.
be inheriting the salaries back.
Yes.
'Cause right now, we pay for 5 people, and we'd have to recover
Yeah.
9, 10, 11 employees back with their first full salaries and benefits. And my biggest fear is, yes, we wouldn't be paying the contracted anymore, but would we be able to get food cost and all the salaries out of that? Because we would need to do that, and I'm not sure, I don't think we can. I don't think we can run it as efficiently as OPA does.
And then trying to document all that nutrition facts was it becoming impossible?
Yes, sir.
It was, okay.
It would be impossible for me to do that.
It would.
Yeah, I mean, OPA, OPA draws a great, they have nutritionists that you would have to have someone of that caliber to be able to do that for you, and also the software to run it to make sure that it's compliant, whether it be NutriKids, none of that's free. You have to purchase all of that stuff. And,
Then you'd also have to have the person supervising the kitchen staff and payroll and those things, so it'd be a massive undertaking.
that list I gave you last month of what OPA does, as far as all the training hours and everything, all that stuff that makes you compliant with the state, you would have to,
We would have to.
you would have to take care of
It'd
that
just be an extra
completely.
liability that we would.
And it's a pretty huge, it's a pretty huge task to keep all of our ducks in a row, as it should be. I mean, it's a big,
We're feeding kids, it's
Yeah.
kind of important.
yeah,
can
exactly.
kids buy a double lunch? or
And
do they
remember
want
the
your-
revenue.
Yes, they can.
The revenue part of that too, at one point, you went to 4-day weeks. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
that's a drop as well, you've lost, you know, that one day of participation.
20% of
That
their
would've been-
participation.
So that's your
You know,
drop from
right.
That's your
16, 17
drop
to 17, 18,
On
yeah.
that one, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true,
So
that's true.
that's in
So
there
where
as
you're
well.
saving on your buses and your gasoline, it's still costing you a little bit in your participation in your food service. So,
In reimbursement, yeah.
Right, in reimbursement, yeah. And so, and I was gonna draw back to what Mr. Charlton was saying, that real life project learning. I had a couple of kids come into my office and they were doing that very thing, and they were asking me what would it take to open up the campus, to make East Newton an open campus so that they could leave the campus.
Nope.
And I said, well, there's a lot of liabilities involved with that, and they had specific questions, you know, what would that do to the school? What would that do to the lunch program?
they were doing a survey.
Yeah, and so, you know, some of those questions I could answer for them and some of them I couldn't, you know, but yeah, they were really interested in it, and I thought that was a good, you know, a learning, because what I was telling them, they were like, wow, I never thought of that, you know, I didn't think of that, you know, so I think that's a good thing for them to do, so, and again, if you guys have any questions, Mr. Cook, I give, this little letter each time to the board, so you'll see that all the time, and if you ever have any questions, just email me or call me.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, I still am not happy about the cinnamon rolls anymore, but, you know, but they make good ones. You have sent them and they have
I
been
will tell
great
you,
ones.
we're getting white bread next year.
Yes.
Rice biscuits and white bread.
Yes.
And they have lifted the sodium requirement, so we don't have to go to that next level of sodium
Yay.
restriction, so we can maintain where we're at. And they also lifted where we can have a starchy vegetable at breakfast. Before,
So
we
potato
had to
pots
serve
and
2
potatoes
cups.
again.
we had to
Yes.
serve 2 cups of
Yes.
spinach or broccoli before we could ever get to the potato
Oh,
category.
man.
So they
Do
lifted that
you
as
have
well,
to do the
so.
wheat still, or
We will still have to offer a certain percentage, like
Yeah,
50% of it.
50% now
Okay.
has to be.
So they won't have to have the wheat noodles?
No, no, we don't
Yes.
have, we don't have that now.
Oh, it doesn't have
So
that
if
now.
you see that in Opa
Yeah.
school, you call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be serving that wheat noodle.
I'm like, no. They're disgusting.
You don't count.
You do not mess with, you do not mess with pasta, sorry.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we're not 30 and 40 years ago, but, so where you're reaching a point with all the nutrition stuff, going, it's becoming too much, I can't, you
yes,
know.
yes.
And, you
It's
know,
like mixing a can of paint to get the exact right combination that's gonna make you compliant for the week. You know, and then what OPA can do with the 5 to 7 options, you know, when I did it, which I got a 6th Sense certified whenever all that changeover happened, but I had 2 options. You
Yeah,
know, that's it. And it was quite a job to,
And that's a
to
job.
get that compliant throughout the week. And then, you know, to have someone to make sure that the other campuses are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Whereas before, you know, I was here, I was the kitchen manager and the
Mhm.
director, so you have to be able to get out and make sure that everybody else is doing what they should be doing as well to make us compliant, so. And I vote for bigger cinnamon rolls too.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
You can make big ones for us.
We'll have
Exactly.
barbecue and cinnamon rolls next month.
Potato tots.
Okay.
Don't forget the starch.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Lori,
You're welcome.
appreciate you, and thank
Appreciate
you for coming in, we appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second.
I have a quick question. If we was to move away from OPA, we would still have to do everything that they're doing now,
Mm-hmm. But,
mixing that paint or the can of paint here, and do basically all that work.
Yep.
still.
yep,
And you gotta buy your paint.
And we
You gotta buy
gotta
your paint.
Or you can just, I mean, you still have to do that, but, I mean, you would take your kids back to, for
Two.
me to be able to do that for you, I would have to take them back to one option and a salad bar. I think that's an injustice
Instead
to
of
our
6
children to make them go
Right.
back to,
we
Yeah.
lose the asset of OPA, as Lori said a little while ago, having the nutritionist, having all those things that we would then have to take on ourselves to do those things. They've got it a part of their program which we get to benefit from.
And they have to turn a lot of that information into DESI to be approved of. by,
Every
you know,
meal.
Every meal.
So we'd have to take that
nutrition
on
guys
ourselves.
have to be in compliance with them.
Every product that we use, every product, we have to have a Buy American for all of our products. If we don't, we have to have a reason for why. So that's something that you would have to come up with.
yeah.
So there are It's a
Make
lot.
our job easy.
Yeah, exactly. Sit through it, that's the audit.
Wow.
No.
As the person who would have to take over all that stuff, I'm very in favor of continuing it.
Any other questions? All in favor? 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your,
Did you-
thanks for your patience.
Did you ever hear anything on Do It For Our Athletes? We talked about being
We appreciate
Yes,
the
for
premiums.
the summer meals, we have
I
got,
have another benefit.
It is
we're in
good.
hopes of starting that in the next school year.
We're still working on it.
Yep.
Where are you headed back to?
I actually live in Charles County.
Oh, okay, so not far, okay.
I actually, just if you have a second, Mrs. Harper was my first principal. and became
Oh.
an OPA manager, so I worked with her for several years.
Oh,
And-
neat.
And we loved it down
And
there.
I love her, and I've always appreciated her, so thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Bye, Lori.
Okay, new business, employee health insurance. Tell us the information on that.
It is, continue to pay the, health insurance at $400 per employee, and then, renew our, insurance with Met, so we
So
continue.
that's your recommendation is to,
And it's how much of an increase?
What was it,
5.4,
5.3% increase from last year.
but your recommendation is to keep it at 400 to keep our
Yes.
budget in place.
Yep.
It's a better, a less of an increase than it had been before, isn't it?
Well, last year it was a one-time thing where it was 3.4% if you went to the narrow, but it was 8% if you
Wow.
kept it broad, so. Just so you know, the main competitor to Met, and Met is, we are self-insured with Met. There's 88 school districts that all contribute to Met, so we are our own insurance company, and we come together to do that to make it, less devastating if there's a catastrophic event for a person. If we were self-funded all by ourselves, and we had somebody who had a heart attack, that would cost, that's,
We could do
the
that.
loss ratio on that is $400,000. Once you get past $400,000, then you can claim, you have insurance on that. So then you
It's
can,
reinsurance.
right, it's reinsurance. So, if you have 2 or 3 of those, then your reinsurance is gonna skyrocket. So it's, with 88 school districts coming together to do that, it lessens the effect, Our main, or Met's main competitor, MEUHP, they had a 12.5% increase this year. Because they miscalculated something. So those
And how
school
much
districts,
did you say ours was?
ours is 5.3%. Is it great? No. Would we like it to be better? Yes. And I met with a company this year, just again, and I continue to do that, and I'll continue, anytime there's an insurance folks that wanna meet with me, I say, you bet you come in, we meet and we talk about, I just try to get them, they never wanna tell me what what the cost is gonna be, but I always meet with them and make sure they get some sort of information from them, because if we can find a better look, but right now, there's just nothing better for us to do.
Dollar wise, how much is the 5.3%?
It's about $18-19 per month increase
On the lowest plan?
on the lowest plan,
On the lower plan.
which is the one we fund.
No, sorry, that's on the high deductible,
Okay,
lowest of the low, it's gonna be about $20, 20 somewhere.
The popular plan is probably
The
around,
popular plans,
I was thinking 55.
it's gonna be in the 50 area, 40, 50 area.
Oh, okay.
And that's for an
10,
individual
12 bucks
too,
a
right? I mean, that's not
I
counting
hate, I don't like
families.
this, I don't, cause we knock them out. Do they get,
And if you get out of MET, you don't get back in it.
5 years, yeah, you're out for 5 years, and if we go with somewhere else and they skyrocket. The fear is if we left Met and went somewhere else for 1 year and we had a much better, it could be catastrophic the next year and we could have a huge, I know that, school districts before they got together with MET and they were with Blue Cross Blue Shield and other areas, there were years where there was a 22-23% increase.
Is, Anthem is Blue Cross, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I'd heard that they were are they trying to get back into the schools, or,
We are Anthem.
okay, that's what we are?
Yeah.
That's what this is?
Yes.
Anthem, okay, okay.
My Anthem policy went up almost 13%.
That's normally what, it's been 11 to 12, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
10 to 12.
It was
Most
significant
times.
this year.
And,
Yeah, my was always 12% at the hospital.
yeah.
My wife works at the hospital. You think you get a cheap deal.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know?
You don't need a cheap
Yeah, I mean,
No.
the cost of doing business, that's where we are. If we had a larger tax base, we could pay more of the insurance, and I'd love to be able to do that, but right now, we're not if we're gonna be financially solvent, we can't really jump
Well,
into that.
that's not a bad price, honestly, when you consider what it costs the rest of us that don't, if you don't have
Right.
insurance like that.
Yeah,
And you're paying,
yeah,
you know, we're paying $700 each,
yeah, that's
so,
fine.
Are
I
you?
mean, it's hard,
Oh, yeah.
Mine's 8.
Yours 8?
And you could probably get a company to give you a better rate the first year,
Yeah.
just to get you switched over, and then they keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, that's, with Met, at least we have the assurance of all those 88 school districts, and there was 6 more trying to get,
And
and there's,
as long as there's good health in the 88,
Right.
in those 88 schools.
But there's not.
there's not, it's all over the
Problem
place.
is-
Yeah.
It's all over the
Teachers-
place.
They're all
teachers are not
Well,
Tammy.
you look at the stop loss, the stop loss of $400,000. The $400,000, the stop loss, the things that cost over $400,000, MET had 6 this year in 88 school districts.
Oh, wow.
MEUHP had 14. So,
It's not bad.
14 or 15, I can't remember what exactly, but double, at least double what we had in MET.
I've had people say, teachers don't do anything. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Go teach a while.
That's
Go
right.
teach one day.
So basically, you're telling us we don't have any options.
The options are out there, but they're not better options, is what I would say. We have options, they're just not better.
And the insurance, nobody's had trouble with the insurance, right, as far as
It's been,
been good.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, everybody gets coverage.
yeah.
The coverage isn't bad. Could it be better? Probably, but it's not horrible.
Tammy could probably tell us.
Right, no problems yet.
Tammy would have already told us.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, they don't get good reviews, but we haven't had people complaining here yet. Like if you go to, there's been several cases we've heard of, not at East Newton, that when you go to emergency and you didn't really need to be an emergency,
You get
they
charged.
won't cover.
Well, I think that's,
Oh, they won't
that's,
cover
I mean, they told us that at work too, we had a meeting
Yeah.
and they put it on the
I think
board,
I
so
remember
that's
you
just,
saying something.
So if they
about-
decide it
just-
wasn't an
that's-
emergency, then it's back on you.
And basically, someone was saying if it's not a heart, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
something,
and
if
that's
it's
not
not
an
a-
emergency, yeah.
It's not an emergency,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
That's why they had the
urgent
urgent
cares.
cares, right?
Right.
Yeah, exact, or urgent cares.
That's different,
Yeah,
but
so-
in the hospitals, it's yours different than that, you just have a $300 copay at the emergency room, so you can go there if you want.
Well, they
You
they
pay
come and,
$300.
they come and took my copay
Yeah.
just while I was there I was there by myself.
Yeah.
I said, she goes, how are you paying today? And I go, well, I guess you're gonna get me my purse out of the closet.
Yeah,
Well.
I mean, they
Yeah,
just took
they
it
do.
right there,
yeah, they do, they usually
because
want
I
you
have
back.
$150 because I do a high deductible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
with my appendix.
Yeah, there you go.
With my-
I'm giving you a gift, what are you talking about?
So, do we need a motion? So moved.
Well, we haven't even,
We haven't.
we did this kind of out of order, we didn't even take a motion yet. So you're gonna make a motion. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna second that motion. Just you don't want this seat.
You get kicked again.
Okay, but,
So do we have any other
Let's-
discussion?
okay, because we need to know what the motion is. Is it to
Accepted.
accept it and keep the $400 cap, or raise the $400 cap, or, you know what I'm saying? I need that worded, please.
I move that we keep the MET insurance and keep the cap, maintain the cap.
Okay. And you second
as
that?
With,
That's good.
yeah, okay.
And you second that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Not that I think it's the best,
Yeah.
do we
If-
want to
if-
do more firm? Yes.
If we had, and Dr. Mitchell could answer, is there any room in the budget to increase that?
Not right now, no. Not in, stay somewhat close to a balanced budget.
Okay,
And getting our reserves up a little bit where they need to be.
Right.
because it would cost about $100,000.
It depends on how much we went up. If we went up, last year when or 2 years ago, when the board voted to reduce it back to the cap,
Okay.
that was $112,000 savings, or $112,000. So to increase the cap back up
More
to
than
a,
that, probably now.
it'd be, depends on how high you went.
And it depends on
And that
what
would,
plan
that
we're
would
on.
kill our
Right.
budget.
Right.
Okay.
Next year's gonna be very tight as it is. None of it's good. I wish it was better.
If we capped it, or we went up $20, how many employees? About
About 185 with insurance.
12 months, about $44,000. Just at $20, just at giving an extra $20. So 50,000 almost. Okay, leave it there for now. I mean, that's the motion. Anybody else?
You guys don't like it?
We don't like it either.
No, we don't like it
No,
either.
no one likes it.
Are there gonna be any raises this year?
Step raise, yeah. That's,
Okay.
at this
Well,
point.
with the offset.
No.
Oh,
no.
no. Hopefully we can do more then, like that.
That's one
Do,
thing.
do custodial staff get steps?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
That's the entire everybody in the district will get their step raise.
Okay.
But,
And
but
that's
they're
one,
still gonna be making less money because of the,
yeah, that's one thing Julie's always said, they're making less because the insurance went up, but we couldn't override the insurance costs. And I feel really bad because my insurance at Crowder's paid for.
We don't wanna hear from you. You can stop talking.
So, I mean, that's hard to sit in this chair. you
Yeah.
know?
It is.
It is hard to sit in this chair. It's very hard. I mean, I don't like that. I mean,
Well, but also in hopes of what we're doing is where we're hoping that we can make ourselves better
Mhm.
so that we can start helping more and
Yeah.
doing more.
If we deficit spend, it isn't gonna help us in the
No.
long run.
Right,
And that's what I'm worried about.
right.
But hopefully by all the actions
Hopefully,
we're
but
taking.
after next year, hopefully we'll be in a position where we can.
Yeah.
And I'd love to just say, okay, we'll cover the whole thing.
But almost every company or entity is like this. I mean, Lazy Boy
Oh,
factories, almost
absolutely.
all of them are
Yeah.
paying something
Yeah.
out of their pocket now.
I've always had.
well, I just hate that there's an increase, it's just costing them more money in the
I agree.
future.
I agree with you,
We
man.
can't,
You're right. You are right, though. I agree.
Yeah, it's,
But we don't wanna be in the deficit, we don't want deficit spend.
Mhm.
I'd do all the things we just put in place to, so we're not deficit spending.
Mhm.
so what is it, step 3%?
About $310. It's not 3%. It's 1.5% or so.
So they're not quite breaking even. They're probably cost them, so.
well, hopefully we're poising ourselves to be able to do better.
I would like that in the near future to bump that up, to help them out a little bit, cause I just.
But something to also think about with that too is, it would be nice to give raises because not everyone takes advantage of health insurance. So I'd like to give a raise. And, you
Give
know,
everybody a raise
raise
instead of-
is better
Yeah, I-
than doing
yeah,
that.
definitely,
So,
I agree.
Instead of paying for their insurance, give them a raise.
yeah, because some people don't take advantage of that with it. So
And that's what we need to look at when
Yeah.
it comes that time.
Yeah, and
Okay.
hopefully we're getting there soon.
Working on it.
Yeah.
I know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
I
Working
mean,
on it.
We appreciate the work.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
not easy.
Okay, all in favor? 6-0. Thank you, guys, for supporting that action. I know we didn't want to.
No, just wanted to, nope.
I know.
Thanks, sir, for getting that together.
Yes, sir.
We're getting there, we'll get there.
Need a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
All in
Yeah.
favor?
You might get in
Aye.
trouble with
You say aye when.
I gotta
when
say.
closed
Aye.
session. Aye.
Would you see me